So does Bumblebee suck or slap? First impressions first. 3, 2, 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's alright.
Herbie sequel we all wanted. Herbie meets Iron Giant. I don't know. That's how
Yeah. Oh, okay, well, that's literally what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Which I actually have a problem with. Because,
I
one...
imagined you would, honestly.
One, it's not as good as Iron Giant. And there's places where it doesn't make sense that it's trying to be Iron Giant.
Yeah.
The beginning of the movie is 100% a play to get everyone back.
Yeah.
Who said they didn't like Michael Bay's interpretation of the Transformers universe. The beginning of Bumblebee is just a CG version
of the cartoon.
Of the original cartoon.
That's what I thought while I was watching it.
Yeah, it has the original art style and everything. It's got a lot of the original voice actors. Megatron is nowhere to be found in this movie, but you can kind of tell they're trying to do an MCU thing now where they're going to start small and maybe go from there. Even though I think the last I heard, this wasn't really going anywhere. They had canceled the stuff that was planned to follow it immediately. But it also didn't do that great in theaters. It got stomped by Aquaman, which I didn't see Aquaman because DC movies suck, so I don't waste my time on them.
I don't. Not interested.
Yeah. But, and like, I've always enjoyed the Transformers movies for what they were. I think the first one was actually a pretty good movie. And the third one has really strong parts about it. The other ones really aren't great. I mean, they're mostly just spectacle. But Bumblebee, it felt like they were marketing it and they tried to make it like they were trying to change things. And in the beginning scene, which is all on Cybertron, I was like, this is really good so far.
Yeah.
This one's gonna be different. I'm already totally on board with this.
Yeah.
When Bumblebee gets to Earth, it's still good. Like, it's still awesome. And I was like, oh my God, they listen to the criticism.
Mm-hmm.
They understand that people want the Transformers themselves to be the characters. Because Bumblebee is a character. Like, he has a personality and everything in the beginning of the movie. Then, also, apparently this is it's a prequel sort of reboot. Because a lot of the stuff seems to be established Bayverse stuff, but they changed some things a little bit. I mean, it's not like the Michael Bay movies didn't do that. Which, by the way, this is only produced by Michael Bay, and it's not Ninja Turtles produced by him. Like, it does not look or play anything like a Michael Bay movie. Like, I get the feeling that he was never on set or even involved in the production. Different. Yeah, it didn't look like it. It wasn't paced like it. It had none of the same humor. It like, even the robot designs were totally different from what he goes for. I mean, Bumblebee still kind of looks like Bumblebee, especially in the face area. But the two new Decepticons that we hadn't seen before,
they're very humanized.
Very humanized and also very colorful and very, I want to say, anime.
Yeah, they weren't like.
The way they moved was less weighty and kind of stumbly and kind of like, they're really heavy. Like, they were very agile. Yeah. Like, it seemed like they had the musculature to go with how big they are. So they're, they can jump and dodge and swing around, and it's not like, really slow and everything, which is Michael Bay's kind of often would feel very heavy, which I didn't have a problem with, but it doesn't really look like Transformers because they were never really slow. But yeah, after he loses his voice, which they have a new explanation for how he loses his voice. I don't know who voices him in this, but he sounds like Bumblebee in the beginning. Then he loses his voice, and when he loses his voice, he stops being a character all of a sudden. He turns into this big, personality-less dog. Yeah. Like, he loses a lot of intelligence.
He loses his memory too, though. So
yeah, he loses. See, I don't buy that. I buy there's plenty of amnesiac characters that don't turn into bumbling animals.
Yeah, his characteristics changed a lot, but I mean.
Well, in the fact that he now didn't know how to do anything, like he acted like timid suddenly, but it's like.
Yeah.
He wouldn't act timid. He's fully grown. He would just not know where he is. And then the way he gets his memory back is not like a machine thing. It's kind of like, oh, something reminded him. It's a very like biological thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's not like he was a machine that had all of its data wiped. Like they definitely, like Transformers are definitely more biological than mechanical, even though they're completely made of metal and electricity and stuff. The way they behave and the way they like learn things is totally like that of a human, basically. And then there was another issue I had with the fact that Michael Bay actually put more work into explaining how they could speak English, whereas in this, they just speak English.
Oh, yeah, they just speak English, and they also send messages to each other in English.
In English, yeah. I kind of liked in Michael Bay's version where they had the language of Cybertron, and it, had those, like, subtitles come up, and then they would convert into English.
Yeah.
I like those really stupid things that Michael Bay did. Like, it's not necessary, but suddenly I missed it in this one, especially since you kind of get the feel that it's a prequel to those movies, even though I think in Transformers 4 or 5 they like make it to where Bumblebee was like in World War II or something. It backtracks on a lot of the weird places that the sequels went in Michael Bay's movies, but you talk, I've talked a lot.
Well, so for me, I really did enjoy the movie. It was a really fun movie. And I really liked it. The only thing that I kind of had an issue with was that it seemed like a bunch of different movies throughout. Yeah. Like the villains' characters had their own movie, which to me felt like almost Men in Black-esque.
Yes. And I got that feeling too.
Then
I actually really liked that. It felt like really this kind of secret too. Agent,
even though they were like the bad guys. Yeah. But like, I don't know. It was like
straight up to the. I like the way they pop. Yeah, like that felt like something out of Men in Black.
And the fact that they popped, that was
very Men in Black.
Very Men in Blackish. Okay, and then
we're not gonna explain that.
Bumblebee's,
if you saw the movie, you know what we're talking about.
Kind of origin was a different movie. Mm-hmm. A very good Transformers movie.
Yeah, and very faithful, kind of fully realized, high budget Transformers movie.
And then Bumblebee's story with the girl main character. I can't think of her character's name.
I don't remember her name either.
Anyway, but that one seemed like a kind of like a coming of age, also like best friend, scared creature kind of.
It kind of felt like they were going for the Stranger Things thing, and not just in that it was based in the 80s, but in that they were these friends that were kind of getting caught up into adventures that were clearly way above, what they should be getting involved with, and that helps them grow and stuff. And, there's an alien.
Yeah.
So
there's a cute, fun.
Yeah, it kind of has the E.T. feeling going there. It had a okay. So there's the fully realized CG Transformers movie, which then turns into half Men in Black, half Steven Spielberg coming of age story. And it's those three movies, and none of them are fantastic. No, never mind. The Transformers movie is fantastic. It just doesn't get to finish.
Yeah, I feel like if the coming of age thing wasn't Bumblebee and it was like some indie, like really
indie.
Well, not indie. I don't know. Obscure. Because, like, it was really... I love the way that they designed everything, like, the sets.
The set design was great,
The set design was really good. The cinematography was really good, and it...
Oh, I should say, the movies... Okay, despite my issues with the tone and the way Bumblebee just changes in weird ways, I actually think the script is good. Like, this is the first Transformer movie that I genuinely think has had a great script. Like... The other Transformers movies are Michael Bay scripts, so they're kind of a mess, and sometimes you get really good stuff in there. Like, one of my favorite lines from the original Transformers, save for a lot of Optimus Prime's lines, which I think if you get in the thinking space of I need to write for Optimus Prime, it makes you a better writer. But one of my favorite lines was, when you're looking back, don't you want to say you had the guts to get in the car? That was an awesome moment in the first movie. And they almost hint at that moment in this movie, kind of recognizing that was a time we did something right.
Yeah.
And we can look back and recognize it now. Like, now we know what was good. We're going to try to do more of that. And I can't remember her name, unfortunately. I remember the guy's name, Memo, because it was a funny name. But their chemistry is good. They have good chemistry as actors.
Mm-hmm.
They're good actors for their age.
Yeah.
And they're definitely like younger actors. They're only maybe 19 to early 20s.
I know Haley Steinfeld is the actress's name, but I don't know what your character's name is. I've seen her in things and really liked her. And
yeah,
this was no exception. She did a really good performance and like played off people well.
I feel like in the other Transformers movies, Shia LaBeouf was kind of the ironically, he was a down to earth thing, kind of holding everyone together. Like John Turturro, I don't know how to say his name. I've never known. But the guy, the Sector 7 agent guy, which Sector 7 is in this, and that's what the Men in Black thing feels like. But his character feels like it's not even in the same movie as Megan Fox's character and Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
Yet Shia LaBeouf seemed to work enough to kind of pull that together. Well, she didn't have to hold that together in this movie. She's just able to be a character, and she's able to be the main character. And like the moments she has talking to like the guy that owns that junkyard and everything like that.
Yeah.
Like
really
those moments, I was like, this script is really good, and there's good direction and good acting, and it feels like a very what's the word? It wasn't cynical. Like the movie doesn't feel cynical. It has like the villains are the cynical ones, but everything else it's kind of like, no, you should try to do good things, and you will be rewarded for being a good person.
Yeah.
Even though it's really hard. And I like how some of the villains are humanized, not the Decepticons, because they aren't human, and Decepticons are bad. But, the human villains, which all of the movies have them, but the human villains in these worked way better than any previous human villain in the Transformers movies. Because, like, it was like they clearly had goals, they wanted to do the right thing, but with the information they had, it was like, this is the best move we can make, but we should also have backup plans. Like, it didn't feel like they were just hilariously evil. Like, I can't remember the guy's name, but it was the guy from Enchanted played the human villain in Transformers 3, which is one of my favorite of the Transformers movies. He's so weirdly, like, just straight out of a crappy Saturday morning cartoon villain. Like, he's just hilariously evil after some point in the movie. But yeah, a lot of the movie works well. I think the majority of the movie is that Spielberg-esque coming-of-age thing.
Yes.
Which and with Bumblebee as this, weird alien who is naive and doesn't know what's going on, he works there. I just don't like how I feel like I saw a movie that I was more interested in right before then, and now the character's different. When the character was really cool and, like, he was a fully realized Bumblebee in the beginning of the movie. Like, he was competent as far as, like, combat. He was being given important missions. Like, he was essentially already, like, Optimus's second in command. Like, he was still the scout. He still filled that role, but Optimus was like, well, who am I going to give this job to? Well, I'm going to give it to Bumblebee. All right, you got it. I trust you. See ya. And like the way he communicated with the Decepticon he fights, it was like, no, this isn't a bright-eyed, he's not green. Like he knows he's in his prime. He knows exactly no pun intended, but he knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah. And
it's fun to watch him. Then there's that whole scene where he's bumbling through their house, and it's like, this is a scene from a movie, or it's like an E.T. scene. It's like E.T. is like, what's going on here? I'm gonna mess with the blender, and here's a coffee maker. What's up with that? I'm gonna make the TV blow up. Oh, I didn't know that was gonna happen. What's that all about?
Yeah.
Like that whole scene, and that scene wasn't necessary to the plot. I feel like the scene was partially in there to put in previews because it looked goofy, and because they wanted to really go after that Spielberg-style charm.
Yeah.
But I think I remember I was thinking in my head, it was like, is this necessary? Because when I'm not enjoying a scene, I'm wondering if it's necessary. Because if it's necessary, I can kind of get over it. But it was like, what needed to happen for that plot point to happen was Bumblebee needed to get the
caught.
attention. Yeah, he needed to get caught. And
By her, probably, like, the main girl character. And she could try to, like...
well, no. He needed to get caught by the Decepticons.
Oh.
Because they needed to figure out where Bumblebee was so that the climax could happen.
Oh, okay.
Because this whole time, Bumblebee's, a robot in disguise. He's trying to lay low and maybe get his memories back.
Oh, yeah.
While the government and the Decepticons are, like, putting everything together and trying to find them. And, like, those two things really work as going back and forth. You've got a Men in Black story of we're trying to track this thing down, contrasted with the coming-of-age story where it's like, this weird alien is helping me become an adult, and I'm trying to hide it.
Mm-hmm.
That really works, but this plot point was like, why does he have to bumble through their house, breaking everything, and being an idiot? Ha! Ha!
Bumblebee.
There's too many unintended puns. But,
to me, I feel like that scene needed to...
What could have happened is he could
sooner.
have just been like, I'm low on energon, I need to get recharged.
Yeah.
And he, like, I don't know, goes to the Bumblebee vision, which they do a lot, and he's like, oh, electrical outlet. That has power in it. I'm going to try to power up, and then it's like, and they find him.
You see all these electrical things and wonder if you can, like, try to get some energy out of them, and then you finally figured out where the energy is coming from, and then you stick your hand in them.
Yeah, it could have been like that. That would have made more sense, where he's like, this has power. How do I get power out of it? Unplugs it. It doesn't work. And he's like, oh, there's where the power comes from. Then he does the same thing, and it electrocutes him, and it's like, oh, there's where he is. And they're like, Bumblebee, what are you doing? He's like, I was hungry, or whatever. You know? It doesn't say that, but you understand that's why Bumblebee was doing that.
She asks if he's hungry, but I feel like that was kind of like...
Ooh, I feel like maybe that was at...
that was maybe them trying...
At some point in the script, they probably were thinking that, and then it didn't work out.
So she just gave him a Pop-Tart, and then the dog ate the Pop-Tart, but it was like, it never went anywhere. And then he went into the kitchen.
I feel like there's a draft of the script that had all of that perfectly explained, but somewhere along the way, enough things had to be cut. Where they were like, just make him be silly.
It would have been better if they had made it into he's going into the kitchen because he has to find food other than he's an idiot, so he's going to wreck everything. Okay.
Final thoughts. Like, I still think it's a good movie. I think you should go see it if you kind of enjoy that kind of old coming of age story that Spielberg used to do so well. And if you just like some fun alien stuff and if you want to see really 10 minutes of exactly what could happen if we really committed to a fully realized Transformers movie. And then kind of don't get to see that anymore. But I think I recommend it.
Yes, I do too.
Just, temper your expectations. I give it about a strong 7 out of 10 because I enjoyed it. And it wasn't too long. It didn't overstay its welcome. Mm-hmm. And what I really like is that he leaves at the end.
Yeah.
Like, I really like how this is a completely self-contained story. And her story, like the kid in E.T., like, that was his story.
Yeah.
We don't need Bumblebee 2 with her coming back. Like, he needed to be the crazy thing that comes into her life that kickstarts change.
Yes.
Now her whole story is complete, and now she can go become an adult. It's like, I've gotten over this phase that she was in the beginning. And, like, Bumblebee, being the crazy alien thing, the thing that starts all the chaos, he's like, everything's fine here. I have to go. Like, I have to move on.
Exactly.
And I also liked the little cool thing at the end, which is kind of a nod to the earlier movies. And I feel like the things they reference from the other movies, as much as people love to say they're so bad, the things they reference are only the good things. And they remind you, it's like, oh, I did like that about those. That was really cool.
Yeah.
I hope this does well enough to get, some sequel that maybe they would plan. But if it doesn't, I think this is a fine standalone. Like, I think if you needed just a Transformers movie to watch and you aren't just going for crazy, insane spectacle, Bumblebee's the best one, bar none.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was really good.
I recommend it.
I recommend it as well.
I think it's still worth watching.
Me too.
Despite everything. It's too much good.
Yeah, there's a lot of good.
So yeah. If you're interested in any of that, go see it.
Yep.
And we'll see y'all next time.
See ya.